Hello athletes and coaches, welcome back to my channel. It's me Dr. Jahnavi Dande. Hope you're all fit, fine and healthy. So this is my fourth and final video on general principle of sports rehabilitation. In the last 3 videos you have learned about various principles of sports rehabilitation, and in this video let us finish off the remaining rehab principles. So are you ready? Then let me start with the disclaimer that this video is made for educating coaches and athletes and it bears no conflict of interest. Looking into the principles one by one, today you will be learning about the progression of rehabilitation and return to play, that plans can be modifiable based on the progress and recovery, optimum loading is essential during rehabilitation, prevention of re-injury after rehabilitation, and a holistic approach of rehabilitation until return to play. So let's look into them one by one. Looking into the rehab progression, rehab can be planned and progressed in 3 stages, which includes early rehab in the clinic and gym, late rehab or on-field rehabilitation, and return to play, which again includes return to training, competition and performance. All the 3 stages can have multiple sub-stages with varying goals depending upon the injury, the functional components that needs to be addressed, and of course the sport played. The rehab should begin initially with a focus on controlling the signs of inflammation, controlling the pain, swelling, and restoring integrity of the injured tissue. This can be achieved by either immobilization or protected mobilization, icing, compression, elevation, etc. The duration depending on the injury site and the type of injury. This is followed by restoration of contractions by muscle activation exercises and voluntary isometric contractions, followed by range of motion exercises. Rehab plans can then focus on exercises restoring strength, endurance of the muscle, both concentric and eccentric strength, and then followed by performing exercises restoring reflex reactions, neuromuscular control and coordination. Once these reflex reactions are restored, complex movements also needs to be restored. And once the athlete is fit to perform functional movements, he can be allowed for on-field rehabilitation. The 4 pillars of on-field rehabilitation are improving movement quality and learning correct techniques, correct movement patterns, progressing from linear movements to multidirectional movements. Then second one is improving fitness by physical conditioning exercises and training. Then moving to practicing and enhancing sport-specific skills and progressing to practice simulations. And finally, optimum training load and progressive increase in loading. You should avoid spikes of acute load. Instead, a smooth progression is advised during rehabilitation, maintaining balance between acute and accumulated chronic load. Let me give you an overview of what is control chaos continuum. As exemplified in this infographic, in football, the control chaos continuum is an adaptable framework for on-field rehabilitation, moving from activities from high control to activities with high chaos, progressively increasing the running load demands to begin with approximately 60% of intensity in first phase and gradually progressing, incorporating greater perceptual and neurocognitive challenges within the sport-specific drills and skills. Drills are a key element of control chaos continuum and are designed from simple controlled drills in phase 1 and moving to complex drills and skills in phase 5. And they should ensure specificity and also should maintain player interest. This slide sums up the entire rehabilitation process, in which the early rehab, which needs to be performed under the guidance of sports physician and under strict supervision of sports physiotherapist in exercise therapy room or clinic or in the gym, and progressing to later stages of rehabilitation, which has to be performed on field, and it should focus on the pillars as described in the previous slide, and that is followed by individual training without opponent or partner or simulated training. That can be done in stage 5 of on-field rehab. The athlete may then return to final rehab stages, that is training with the team. 2 points worth mention here are: one is athlete should continue indoor training during on-field rehab also, and the second is the plans may be modified. When to modify? If progression is unsatisfactory, you can modify the plan, or if athlete experiences pain or swelling, then also athlete should focus on reducing the symptoms and go back to the previous stage. That means you can assess again and identify the lacunae and modify the training plan or the rehab plan. After reassessment, if improvement is found satisfactory, again he can go to the next stage. Once the athlete is fit to return to train, he should progress to return to competition and return to performance. Either previous performance or better than his previous performance. Sports rehabilitation is a team approach wherein support in early stages and on-field rehabilitation will be provided by the medical team, and return to training, competition and performance is supervised by the performance team, which includes coaches, strength and conditioning experts or athletic trainers, etc. Fine, your athlete has returned to play. Now the most important point which needs to be attended to is to prevent re-injury. How can one prevent re-injury? By avoiding too soon return to play clearance and no compromise on goals. If you are compromising on goals, then there is a likelihood of injury. Psychological readiness or mental fitness of the athlete is also essential to prevent re-injuries. The road to recovery does not stop once an individual can return to sport successfully. Rehab now progresses into injury prevention. This transition from rehab to injury prevention is intended to prevent either re-injury, further aggravation of injury, and or getting other injuries in general. Now let's understand the holistic and integrated rehab approach for optimal decision making. The top part, injury management, it describes the management aspects that need to be addressed to lead the rehabilitation project. In this, we should consider the stakeholders, define their roles, address to their needs, and set smart goals, monitor the progress, and prompt and effective communication with the stakeholders about the rehabilitation process is essential. This should be combined with START, that is strategic assessment of risk and risk tolerance, which includes health of injured tissue, the tissue stressors, and risk tolerance. Decision making for return to sport should be a shared decision making by convincing the stakeholders. The bottom part now shows the progression of rehabilitation. As we have already discussed, it should include biopsychosocial approach, and the load should be progressively increased to promote tissue healing but not tissue damage. That means the load should not be excessive in such a way that it is causing tissue damage. The load should be increased in such a way that it should cause positive adaptations without damaging the tissue. These adaptations go through iterations where the start model can be applied time to time at different points until eventual full return to sport is achieved. Final decisions are reached by applying a shared decision making process. So wherever possible, you have to consider as many as of these factors for an effective rehabilitation program. With this, I will conclude my video, General Principles of Sports Rehabilitation, Final Part 4. In this video lecture, you have learnt about principles of progression of rehabilitation, including modifications of training plans, optimum loading to prevent re-injury, protection from re-injury, and a holistic management approach of rehabilitation and return to play. If you have any doubts, you can post in the comments box so that I can answer. For more updates on other sports medicine topics, you can subscribe to my channel. Signing off for now. Bye.